Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pat's Travel Pass. Today, we're reviewing Amtrak's Coast Starlight from Emeryville down to Burbank. Come join us. We started the day off with traveling over to Amtrak's Emeryville station, located across the bay from San Francisco, just north of Oakland. Now, we're picking up the Coast Starlight about halfway through its journey. It left yesterday morning from Seattle and made its way through the rest of Washington, through Oregon, and down to Emeryville after about 24 hours of travel. We'll be picking it up here about 9 in the morning and taking it all the way to Bob Hope Airport for about a 12-hour rail journey. Now, the waiting area is pretty spacious. It has about everything you need from this small convenience store with over-the-counter medication and some snacks and drinks, as well as the ticketing counter and an ATM. Now, this morning we noticed that our train was actually late in arriving due to some ongoing freight traffic. We used Amtrak's live track training map, which you can find from a simple Google search, and you can actually see all of Amtrak's network and how on time it is, where it is live. We find this pretty useful, especially when you're on the train and wake up in the middle of the night wanting to know where exactly you are. Emeryville is also home to some of the more local routes, including this Capital Corridor, which runs from the Bay Area up to the state's capital, Sacramento. After about a 45-minute delay, our train, the Coast Starlight, finally arrived. Now, Amtrak has 3 different accommodations on this train. We have the coach seat, which is essentially a large first-class domestic airline seat. We also have the roomettes, which is where Alex and I will be staying in room 10 at the end of the car. And then lastly, we have the bedrooms, which have ensuite shower and bathrooms shown on the left here. Now, since this train was picking up at about 9:30, Alex and I barely had enough time to sit for breakfast in the last seating. In roomette and bedroom cars, you actually get all 3 meals if you're on the train during the time, included in your ticket fare. So you can see here I went with the breakfast quesadilla. It's actually pretty good food. I would definitely say it's a step up from airline food in economy. After breakfast, Alex and I went back to our room to watch the sights as we headed towards San Jose. As you can see here, there's 2 big seats that face each other. These turn into the bottom bunk, with the top bunk swinging down into a locked position. Currently, it's folded as far up as it can be. Please note that this is a pretty tight squeeze for 2 people. I'd say 1 person, it's very comfortable. You can sleep on the bottom bunk, move about, you won't hit your head on the top bunk. But with 2 people, whoever's on the top has to be pretty comfortable without having a ton of space. Alex and I tend to swap back and forth on who gets the bottom bunk just because it is a little bit more difficult to sleep up top. For the rest of the morning, we watched the sights pass by as we headed towards San Jose and eventually into Salinas. One thing that was different when we took our first train ride is realizing all of the rooms and traveling between cars, the dining car, the observation car, are all on the second deck except for a few of the rooms and showers and bathrooms down below. So it is a better viewpoint when you're up top. I think on this trip we actually were placed on the bottom, and I requested through Amtrak support to be put on the top just to get that better view and to be a little bit higher off the tracks. When you're in the roomettes, showers are provided to you. I would recommend bringing shower shoes, but otherwise, Any soap, shampoo, towels are all provided in the shower room itself, so you don't have to worry about bringing those. If you do plan on bringing carry-on luggage, this is the rack where all of it will go. There isn't that much room in any of the roomettes for more than a few backpacks. So if you are bringing a carry-on, I recommend, one, just checking it and not bringing one at all, or trying to find space in your room, as these luggage rack areas are not secured in any way. The entrance to the car is adjacent, so it isn't the safest option. Now, that being said, I haven't heard of any issues, but if you are concerned about your items being safe, it's something to consider. As we made our way down the Central Coast, it was getting close to lunchtime. As you saw previously, we were actually given a reservation time for lunch and dinner after breakfast. Now, these are on a first-come, first-served basis versus breakfast is open seating in the morning. So if you do want a specific lunch or dinner time, you should show up to breakfast right as the dining car opens, which I think is about 7 a.m. For lunch, I went with the baked potato with vegan chili, and Alex went with the hamburger. There's also an included dessert, to which we both went with a brownie. Here's a look at our menu for the Coast Starlight. Now, these menus do change throughout the year and based on which train you have. Alex and I were never hungry on this train with 3 full meals and 2 desserts every day, but if you do have dietary restrictions, I recommend bringing snacks. Our train comprised of 2 locomotives, 1 baggage car, 2 sleeper cars, a dining car, observation car, and 2 coach cars. Now here you can see what half of the observation car looks like, with kind of cafeteria seating, with the other side being single seats facing outward for good viewing opportunities. Also, the observation car has glass on the ceiling, which is really useful for viewing all day long. As we approached San Luis Obispo in the sunset, we noticed there was some smoke out in the distance, and actually Cuesta Grade, which takes you out of San Luis Obispo to the north, there was a fire along the hillside. So we watched as the helicopters, airplanes, firefighters on the bottom, the top, all tried to fight it. It was a different vantage point being on the train, but it looked like they had it under control, luckily. It was pretty sad to see, considering how much time we've spent in the SLO area recently, which is where we both went to college, met, and actually got married. Now at this point, our train was running a few hours late due to some locomotive problems just north of Paso Robles. So we were pulling into San Luis Obispo a few hours late, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, the best part of this ride is from SLO south, because you're along the Pacific Ocean for a majority of it. We would soon find out that that would be entirely in the dark, unfortunately. After having breakfast and lunch in the dining car, Alex and I tried for the first time ordering dinner to our room by asking our car attendant, and she took our order and we were brought dinner maybe in 15 minutes. Alex went for the salmon, I went for the steak. With dinner, you actually get an appetizer as well. We both went for the balsamic skewers. As you can see, I'm struggling to open here with one hand. Like I said, the meals are definitely elevated from anything you'd expect on an airplane. I always go for the steak just because it is actually a solid meal and I enjoy it quite a bit. Now with these dinner meals, you actually get one alcoholic drink included, so Alex went for the white wine and I went for the red wine. Now finally, we each get a piece of dessert different from the desserts at lunch. I went for the cheesecake and Alex went for the chocolate cake. These are pretty dense, so we actually didn't even finish both of them and barely finished one at that rate. After dinner, we looked out the window for the next few hours until we were finally dropped off at Bob Hope Airport, one stop prior to the terminus of Los Angeles. So how did we actually book this trip for free? We actually took the Southwest Chief from Los Angeles over to Chicago and were delayed so much that Amtrak gave us a credit enough to cover the cost of this entire trip. So if you'd like to also travel for free on the Coast Starlight like we did, just take a cross-country trip. It might be lucky enough to have that happen to you. Thanks everyone for watching. If you'd like more content like this, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you'd like more in-depth analysis of our trip and some of our other trips like Lufthansa's First Class and United Polaris, soon to come, please visit patstravelpass.weebly.com for more in-depth reviews. See you next time.